I'm Jamie, and today I'm introducing Katarina from the First Doctor era. Katarina was a companion for the First Doctor only in 1965. She had the briefest run of the companions to date. Katarina was a Trojan handmaiden from 1200 BC. She belonged to a poor family who lived near Troy. Working under the prophetess Cassandra, she was little more than a slave. Katarina appears in a total of 2 stories and 5 episodes. She only appears in Season 3, first episode, The Mythmakers, which has 4 parts, with all episodes missing. Then last but not least, The Dalek's Master Plan was 12 parts, but 9 episodes missing. Now, you think I would say that she appears in numerous Big Finish audios. No. She only appears in 3 Big Finish audios and a little bit of the EU spin-offs, which I'll get into later. So because Katarina's run in Doctor Who is the briefest ever, I could actually go into detail about her first and last episode, because that's the only thing she's appeared in. So here we go. So in The Mythmakers episode 4, Katarina was sent by Cassandra to spy on the First Doctor, Vicky and Stephen, to find out if Vicky was a Greek spy. She befriended Vicky, who sent her to help the Doctor get Stephen back to the TARDIS after he was injured by a spear. She tended to his wounds and joined him and the Doctor on their travels whilst Vicky remained behind. Now as for Katarina's last episode, The Dalek's Master Plan, this is where it gets crazy. So after landing on Kemble, Katarina remained in the TARDIS with Stephen while the Doctor looked outside for drugs. She administered tablets to Stephen at Brett's instructions and fled with the 2 men into the jungle when Daleks surrounded the ship. The Doctor joined them and they went to the spaceport where they stole the spar and crash-landed on Desperus. Katarina and Stephen made sure to prevent intruders from boarding the ship, but Kirkson managed to stow away. The spar took off for Earth, and Katarina checked to see if a door was secure, upon which Kirkson emerged and held her hostage.
Stop that! Turn the talk back on again!
There's no point.
Turn it on again before he really hurts her.
Look, he can't kill her. He hasn't a hostage.
Pulling her to an airlock to blackmail the Doctor into returning the ship to Kemble.
You animal! Now that's just a start. Now do as I say! Change course! Now that's more like it!
Take him back to Kemble. Take him back to Kemble. Let the Daleks deal with him.
Yes, and us.
Oh, don't worry, dear boy. We'll find a way out.
I can't sacrifice everything for the sake of that one girl.
Without us, you wouldn't have got off Kemble at all, and nothing would be worth bothering about.
All right, so we all go out of it together. But without me, I doubt if you'd have got this far either.
Yes, all right, but I won't let you have Katarina. We'll head back for Kemble. As the Doctor says, on the way we may find a way to get her out of there.
To save her friends, she activated the airlock door and expelled herself and Kirkson into space.
You won't! No! Not that one! Katarina! Katarina!
She was certain her death had been foretold and that she was doomed to die.
She didn't understand. She couldn't understand. She wanted to save our lives, and perhaps the lives of all the other beings of the solar system. I hope she's found her perfection. Oh, I shall always remember her as one of the daughters of the gods. Yes, as one of the daughters of the gods.
As for Katarina's personality, well, she's a sweet, simple, modest young woman who cannot cope with the fact that the universe is opened up to her. And she believes that, in fact, when she's traveling with the Doctor, she has died. And that the Doctor is a god transporting her to the next life. She refers to the TARDIS as a temple, and also in the place of perfection. And she literally worships the Doctor, referring to him as a lord, much to his annoyance, and having absolute faith in him. She believes that the Doctor was the god Zeus, and that he had come to take her on a journey in his temple to the real place of perfection. Despite the Doctor's protests, she remains set in this belief. She asked very few questions, preferring to watch and learn, something that the first Doctor believed that Stephen could learn from her. She had no knowledge of more technological advanced ages, and as a result, the Doctor educated her on some of these items. For example, the purpose of keys. She told him that she felt safe with him.
Where's the Doctor?
He will be here soon.
Oh, I don't understand. Where are we? I can't think straight.
You must rest. The tablets I gave you have made you better, but you must still rest.
Tablets? What's going on here? What are we doing out here in the jungle?
We had to leave the temple. The TARDIS. The evil ones came.
Evil ones?
He called them the Daleks.
So now it's time for trivia on Katarina. Despite her brief tenure, she is significant for being the first of the Doctor's companions to die in the series. Yep, you heard right. Among the surviving clips of the Daleks' master plan is included the scene of Katarina's death that survived due to it being shown on an episode of Blue Peter in 1973 that was not junked. Katarina's death weighed heavily on the Doctor's conscience. The first Doctor said that he would always remember her as one of the daughters of the gods. Only one episode featuring Katarina is present in the archives. Katarina was conceived as a permanent companion, but this was quickly re-evaluated by the writers. Doctor Who producer John Wiles and his production team decided to write out Katarina as soon as possible to get around the writing challenges of a character so very unused to modern concepts, and to whom the Doctor would have had to explain everything. For example, Katarina did not even know what a key was. They decided to do so in the most dramatic way possible. You did a very good job. The Big Finish audio Daughter of the Gods gives Katarina substantial development, effectively making her the central character and exploring her relationship with the Doctor, which is something I want to check out. Now, as for Katarina's life after the Doctor, obviously she doesn't have one, but I thought it was an important thing to put in this video is that even long after her death, it still weighs heavily on the Doctor's conscience. In fact, she's the first companion, very significant with it, and it follows with Sarah Kingdom and Adric and other companions to follow after that. Now, time for some trivia on Adrian Hill, the actress who played Katarina herself. So for 35 years, none of the episodes to feature her existed in the BBC archives until January 2004, when the second episode of the 12-part serial, The Daleks' Master Plan, was found. Katarina's death was the first scene Hill filmed for the series. Yeah. Her role as a companion in the Daleks' Master Plan was given to the character of Sarah Kingdom, who was also killed off in the same story. Doctor Who was her first work in television. Adrian Hill distanced herself from long-term association with Doctor Who, but appeared in the 1985 Children in Need special with other actors who had played the Doctor and his companions. Her tenure on the show was among the briefest. And of course, she passed away in October of 1997.
Fuck. Biggest screw over in the entire Doctor Who run.
So it goes without saying that Katarina is one of the most tragic characters of Doctor Who. Like, really tragic. But for some reason, I can't help but love her. Like, even if she barely had any development in the show, and she was hardly there, and most of her episodes are missing, I still think she was a really interesting character, and she had so much potential that got wasted. Yes. And I think the writers could have worked around their issue with her, because I mean, later on in Doctor Who, we see prime examples with characters similar to her, like Leela, for example, and Jamie and Victoria from different time periods who aren't used to this technological advanced, modern world. And I think they could have done the same with Katarina, but it's just at the time, they just didn't want to do it. It's not that it was impossible for them to do it, it's just the fact that the writers looked at it as a hard job and they just didn't want to do it. That's my point of view on it. And honestly, Katarina is one of my favorite companions, not only because of all the potential she had that got wasted, but especially because she was the stepping ground for characters like Leela and Jamie and Victoria. She was like the stepping stone for them. She died so that they could fly, pretty much. And it's just, when I was going through all this knowledge and research for Katarina in this episode, like, the things I found that were shocking was that the first scene that Adrian Hill filmed for Katarina was her death scene. That was the first thing she filmed. And I'm like, that's gotta suck to know that you're already going to die before you film the first appearance of your character. That's pretty sad. And, I mean, also, it was her first, job on television. And that's pretty sucky too, just to get killed off like that. And the writers who, they originally came up with the concept of making her a permanent companion, but then all of a sudden they're like, we can't do that. Katarina and her actress got screwed around so much that no wonder the actress just tried to distance herself from Doctor Who altogether. That's sad. But if I'm also to be quite honest, that's the thing that makes Katarina a very significant companion, is because she's so tragic. She's so tragic. She's the first companion to ever get killed off, and just everything she got just was terrible. But overall, I love her. And she deserved better. She deserved so much better.
Don't you see? It's a trap. That's exactly what they want us to do.
Yes, possibly.
Don't act without thinking.
I never do and never shall.
Well, you were all set to go straight back to the TARDIS.
Just said we should never have left it.
Yes, you're quite right, my dear. It's the safest place.
Oh, yes, if the Daleks are waiting outside for us, it'll be suicide.
Oh, not necessarily, not
Who was going to play the scapegoat?
Supposing Stephen were right.
Well, in this instance, child, he might be, but I know the Daleks.
So do I, Doctor. Look, I see. We should stay here until we know exactly what they're going to do.
Track us down at any time.
We hear them.
No.
I mean, the mechanoids.
Oh, they were robots.
So what?
However, besides all this Shakespearean tragedy of Katarina, there is a silver lining with her. And it's the fact that Big Finish has done 3 audios with her, which is pretty cool. And so she can be explored in more audios. That's one way. Another thing is that They're also doing animations for the missing episodes, you know, with like the second Doctor era. They've already done, you know, Fury from the Deep and Evil of the Daleks and so many others. So eventually when they get to the Hartnell era, they'll probably more than likely do Katarina's episodes too. And that means that people can finally have knowledge of her and she can finally have her time to shine and get what she really deserved, which was just to be acknowledged as a character. So, in the end, there's still a light for Katarina. As for Katarina's death, it is something that the Doctor has never forgotten. The first Doctor said that he would always remember her as one of the daughters of the gods. And the second Doctor, in the audio, the daughter of the gods, said that he would never forget her. Now, as for more spin-offs that Katarina's in, the inside of the inner landscape of the Seventh Doctor's mind in a hell haunted by his guilt, Ace came across the ghost of Katarina in the form of an eternal frozen girl of ice. The Doctor also once saw Katarina with Sarah Kingdom and Adric among his past guilts. So out of the 3 Big Finish audios that Katarina's referenced in, or she is taking part in, I actually found something interesting too. So in the audio story called The Last, which is an 8th Doctor one, the Doctor refers to Katarina as the little handmaiden from Troy. He regrets taking her away from her own time and giving her hope, only for her to be killed shortly afterwards. So even to the 8th Doctor's timeline, it is confirmed that he is still regretful of what happened to Katarina. He hasn't forgotten her and he's stuck to his word. As for one of the other spin-offs that Katarina is in, there's one called Katarina and the Underworld and explores her afterlife. In the afterlife, Katarina found herself without a coin and thus unable to cross the River Styx. Thanks to the intervention of the first Doctor, or her idea of him, she was able to find her way not only to Asphodel, where the souls of those who had done neither good nor evil went, but to the Elysian Fields, the abode of the blessed. Thanks for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Now, as for our next companion, we will be covering Liz Shaw from the 3rd Doctor era.
Yeah, we're getting on that redhead.
Woohoo! Thanks for watching.
Oh, I shall always remember her as one of the daughters of the gods.